So today we'll be discussing frequency. Okay. Okay. Frequency, amplitude. Okay, frequency. Um, all right. So let me show you some waves, right? And then you are going to tell me that what is the difference between different waves. Okay. So let me draw here. Let me sketch the waves, right? Uh, this is, let's say, wave A. Okay. And this is going to be your wave B. Oh, this is your wave B, right? This is your wave A. This is your wave B. And this is your wave C. Okay. G. Wave A, B, and C. Wave C. So now tell me, are you able to differentiate uh, in these given waves, waveforms? Yes.
Sorry?
Are you able to differentiate in the given waveforms? No. Is there no difference? Are they same?
No,
Then
it's C has a
okay, so it's a
highest.
frequency. It's a frequency that we can, on the basis of frequency, we can differentiate in these given waveforms, right? Because if I say this is one cycle is completed from this point to this point. Okay. One cycle is completed here. Another cycle starts from the same point and then it ends at this point. And the third cycle starts from here and then it will be ended till this point. Okay. So this is how the three waves are completed. Okay. Now over here, acha, let me call that how many seconds the three waves have taken. Okay. So let's say this is 9 seconds. Okay. 9 seconds. Right. And again, let's say this is also 9 seconds. Sahi? Now, how many waves or yes, you can say there is only one wave in 9 seconds. Yes. Is there only one
Yes.
wave? Yes, one cycle. Okay. And if I say this is also 9 seconds, this is also 9 seconds. Okay. So now you are going to tell me, okay, how many waves are completed in 9 seconds? One, two cycles, three waves, four, 5,
uh,
6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5, right? Okay, so let me
yes,
complete this wave as well so that you can say 10 waves are completed in 9 seconds. Okay, 10 waves are
yes,
completed in 9 seconds. Over here, 3 waves are completed in 9 seconds. Over here, 1 wave is completed in 9 seconds. Okay, right? So that means we have taken number of cycles, or can I say number of waves or number of waves? Can I say number of waves as well? Number of cycles or number of waves or number of vibrations are the same things. Okay,
yes,
ठीक है? So divided by the total time. Divided by the total time. ठीक है? Right? Are you getting my point or not?
yes,
Okay. Now we are going to write the definition of frequency. On the basis of this concept, we are going to understand the definition of frequency. Frequency is the number of waves, or we can say number of vibrations. Okay, or number of cycles. Okay, pass through one point per second. Clear? The number of
yes,
waves or vibrations or number of cycles pass through one point in 1 second. Okay? Why are we saying 1 second? Because when you divide them, so you will be getting the answer for 1 second. Again, when you divide this, so you will be getting the answer for 1 second. Right? Clear? So number of waves, vibration,
yes.
or number of cycles pass through one point. So if I mark one point here, so how many vibrations are passing through this point? Okay, in 1 second. In 1 second. Clear?
Hmm.
सही है. So we will observe in 1 second how many cycles, ठीक है, or vibrations pass through 1 second, or uh, happen, right? Number of vibrations happen in 1 second, right? So this is frequency. ठीक है. अच्छा, remember frequency is directly, or we can say pitch is related to the frequency. Another term that can be used, ठीक है, to define the uh, different quality of sound. Okay, so that term is called pitch. Okay, so pitch is related to the frequency. Clear? Pitch is related to the frequency. Okay, higher the frequency, if there's high frequency, then there would be a high pitch. Higher the frequency, higher the pitch, right? Pitch is
Hmm.
related to the frequency. Higher the pitch, higher the frequency, higher the pitch, and lower the frequency, lower the pitch. Okay, lower the frequency, lower the pitch, right? ठीक है. अच्छा, now uh, after that, higher the frequency, higher the pitch, lower the frequency, lower the pitch. ठीक है. So the shrill sound, what do you think, the shrill or grave sound? Do you have any idea about the shrill and grave?
Sorry?
Do you have any idea about shrill and grave sound? Shrill and grave sound?
No.
No? Acha. So actually, this is the characteristic of the sound waves, right?
Sir, your voice is a bit low. Can you speak louder?
Acha. I think there's a lot of noise from your side. Okay, you can check it. Right. So we were discussing about the characteristic of sound, right? Okay. So as I have just spoke about the grave and the shrill sound, grave, right? And shrill sound, right? So grave sound, grave, grave, and shrill, right? This is the characteristic of the sound wave. Grave
Yes.
and shrill. Okay. This is what the characteristic of sound wave. Characteristic of sound waves. So grave sound refers to a sound with a low frequency or a pitch. Okay. Low frequency or a pitch. Okay. Grave sound refers to what? It refers to what, beta? Wave sound refers to it refers to the low frequency or low pitch. Are you getting my point? Since we have developed this understanding
Yeah.
that pitch is directly related to the frequency. If there is high frequency, then there would be a high pitch. If there is less frequency or low frequency, then there will be a low pitch. Clear? So it refers to the low frequency or low pitch. It refers to the low frequency or low pitch, right? For example, the bass of the bass drum or lines roar, right? जो आपका जो लाइन जो आपका जो जब चीखता है तो उसकी जो आवाज होती है वो बहुत भारी होती है, राइट? तो दैट इज अ ग्रेव साउंड, उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी कम होगी। ठीक है। जितने भी जो जो भारी आवाजें होती हैं, ठीक है, उनकी जो फ्रिक्वेंसी होती है वो कम होती है, राइट? और जो श्रिल होती है साउंड, जो श्रिल साउंड होती है, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू दैट इज रिलेटेड टू व्हाट? it refers to it refers
High,
to the
high
high
frequency
frequency
and
or high pitch. Clear?
yes.
ठीक है। सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ लिखना था मुझे, और यहाँ फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्या हो सकता है? बेबी इज क्राइंग। ठीक है। सो द साउंड ऑफ द क्राइंग बेबी इज ऑल्सो what is considered as a shrill sound, right? Clear? Now is there any confusion?
No.
No. ठीक है। So that's the frequency and the pitch. Okay, so we are going to do some question. Acha, what do you understand about the amplitude? Amplitude.
Yes. Um.
I think
Uh.
I
Higher
explained this
than.
concept, right? Amplitude, the maximum distance. Maximum distance covered or traveled, ठीक है, by the particle above the अच्छा, ये पार्टिकल की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं तो फिर ये नहीं लिखेंगे कि traveled in the wave, traveled in the wave, the maximum vertical distance. I should mention it a vertical distance, okay? The maximum vertical distance covered or traveled in the wave from baseline, baseline or mean line. Clear? सही है?
Yes.
Now we can understand by sketching the wave. ठीक है, यहाँ पे मैंने एक wave sketch कर दी है. Now you can easily understand this is going to be your amplitude. This will be your amplitude. ये आपका amplitude कहलाएगा. Clear? ठीक है? And loudness is directly related to what? Loudness is directly related to the amplitude. So now how can you relate loudness and amplitude? If there is high amplitude, then what will you decide about the loudness? What will you say about the loudness? G. Beta, if there is a high amplitude in the wave, then what will you say about the loudness?
G.
G. Then the sound is louder. Okay, the sound will be louder. सही है? So greater the amplitude, greater the loudness will be. ठीक है? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are going to do some questions. Acha, one thing I forgot to discuss here, wavelength. ठीक है, मैंने wavelength आपसे डिस्कस नहीं किया. ठीक है, so before doing the practice questions, I would like to discuss wavelengths as well. ठीक है, wavelength. Have you heard about wavelength? Yes. Have you heard about the wavelength, बेटा? Wavelength क्या होता है? कोई आइडिया है? अच्छा. Now, if I give you two waveforms, right? And again, I ask you to differentiate between these two waveforms. ठीक है? तो अब देखें अब आप. This is one wave. Say this is wave A. And say this is wave B. ठीक है? Now, is there any difference between these two waves?
Yes.
Yes. If I say this is your this is 3 centimeter. ठीक है? And say this is 2 centimeter, right? This is 1.5 centimeter, let's say. ठीक है? So are you able to differentiate between these two waves? ठीक है? With respect to the distance I have provided you.
That
Wave A. The wave A, one cycle is completed in 3 centimeter, right? And wave B, the one cycle is completed in 1.5 centimeter. I'm not saying the time is given to you. I'm saying the distance is given to you. This time the length is given to you. So whenever we talk about the wavelength, it refers to the length of the wave. It refers to the length of the wave, right? So how are we going to describe the wavelength? Wavelength is actually the distance between one, uh, the distance, no, distance, the wavelength is the length of the wave that is defined as the length between uh, two points. अच्छा, वो कौन से points होंगे ये specify करना, that is the necessary. Okay. Uh, this is one wave, right? This is your one wave, right? And this is your second wave. Clear? This is your third wave. Clear? Okay. So the one wave is completed here, another wave is second wave is completed here, third wave is completed here, right? Now, if I'm going to describe, if I'm going to take a start from this point, अगर मैं यहाँ से start ले रहा हूँ तो मेरी wave यहाँ पे end होगी जाकर, ऐसा ही है ना?
Yes.
और अगर if I am taking start from here, then the wave will be ended till this point. ठीक है? What if I start counting the wave from this point? Then where will it be ended? At what point, okay, at what point I will consider the wave is completed, one wave is completed?
Over
Over here? Over here?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this is going to be the distance between two, do you remember this region is called as crest? याद है ना, crest कहते थे हम, और इसको भी crest कहते हैं, ठीक है? और peak to peak भी कह सकते हैं, peak, ये भी peak है, and this is also peak. Clear? So the distance between two consecutive peak, this is called wavelength. Clear? ठीक है? So another wavelength can be considered as this. This is also wavelength, the distance between two consecutive peaks. Clear? Acha, is there any other way to define wavelength without peaks? Can we consider troughs? ये आपका trough है. This is also your trough. Okay, of the wave. Then the distance between two consecutive trough is also the wavelength. Is this clear? So how are you going to describe or define the wavelength? The distance between two consecutive crests और टू कंसेक्यूटिव, या तो आप उससे बात करें ट्रफ से ट्रफ तक, या क्रेस्ट टू क्रेस्ट की बात करें, ठीक है? और टू कंसेक्यूटिव ट्रफ्स, ठीक है? एंड इट इज डिनोटेड बाय, ये हम किससे शो करते हैं, किस लेटर से शो करते हैं? लैम्डा से शो करते हैं. दिस इज द सिंबल ऑफ लैम्डा. क्लियर? ठीक है जी. It is denoted by lambda, right? ठीक है. अच्छा, what if we are considering or we are taking the start from here? अगर हम यहाँ से ले रहे हैं तो यहाँ तक जा रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो एक क्रस्ट होगा और फिर एक ट्रफ होगा, ऐसा ही है ना? So this is also wavelength. ठीक है? So wavelength is the distance covered by one crest and one consecutive ट्रफ. आप एक ट्रफ की बात कर लें और एक crest की बात कर लें, then it is also wavelength. Clear बेटा? Wavelength is the distance covered by one crest or one crest and one consecutive trough, यानी उसी के बिल्कुल साथ वाला. ये आपका एक क्रेस्ट हो गया, ये आपका एक ट्रफ हो गया। तो ये पूरा यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक आपका क्या हो गया, वेवलेंथ हो गई। ठीक है, सो वी कैन कॉल इट लैम्डा। लैम्डा, वन वेवलेंथ इज वन लैम्डा, वन वेवलेंथ इज वन लैम्डा। इज क्लियर नाउ? ठीक है।
Yeah.
And the unit that we use for wavelength is सेंटीमीटर और मीटर। हम सेंटीमीटर और मिलीमीटर भी यूज करते हैं, मीटर भी यूज करते हैं। एंड द यूनिट फॉर द फ्रीक्वेंसी, unit for the frequency we use hertz। ठीक है, so we call it SI unit for SI unit for frequency is hertz, और उसका सिंबल कैपिटल H और Z होगा। सही। और SI unit for wavelength is SI unit for wavelength is meter। क्लियर बेटा? और इसका सिंबल हम
Yes.
स्मॉल m यूज करते हैं। ठीक है, सो इंशाल्लाह इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास वी विल बी डूइंग सम क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है, रिलेटेड टू फ्रीक्वेंसी, वेवलेंथ एंड एम्पलीट्यूड। ठीक है, राइट। अच्छा, रिमेंबर देयर इज अ डिफरेंट, सॉरी, रिलेशन बिटवीन द वेवलेंथ एंड द फ्रीक्वेंसी। ठीक है, फ्रीक्वेंसी इज frequency is inversely proportional to wavelength, inversely proportional to the wavelength, and now we will discuss this concept in the next class। ठीक है, what inversely proportional mean, ये inversely proportional का मतलब क्या होता है, इंशाल्लाह we will discuss in the next class। okay, inversely proportional का मतलब सिर्फ मैं आपको ये बता सकता हूँ, एक चीज अगर कम हो रही है तो उसका जो इफेक्ट होगा वो उसको बढ़ा रहा होगा, राइट। सो इफ द फ्रीक्वेंसी इज लेस, ठीक है, if the frequency is less then wavelength will be greater, if the wavelength is lesser then frequency will be greater। ठीक है, this is how we can define inverse relation, right? So inshallah in the next class we'll be doing some questions related to the topics that we have covered in earth physics। ठीक है जी, ओके जी, अल्लाह हाफिज़, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Yeah.